Vanessa had spent 10 years being the perfect wife. The spotless house, the home cooked meals, the ever supportive smile when her husband talked about his day. But beneath the surface, she shimmered with unspoken cravings. She wasn't the kind of woman who waited to be seduced. She took what she wanted, and right now, she wanted something more than just grocery lists and polite dinner conversations. It started on a whim, a morning run in the park, a moment stolen for herself. She was stretching, feeling the tightness in her muscles, when she noticed him. Tall, lean, his sweat dampened shirt clinging to his body in all the right places. He was watching her. No, admiring her. She smirked. Good boy. Slowly, deliberately, she shifted her stance, letting his eyes wander all over her body. She was used to men looking, but this one, there was something about him. A mix of confidence and silent obedience, as if he was waiting for her next move. Vanessa loved it. The power, the control. She strode past him, close enough for him to catch the faint trace of her perfume. Then, without turning around, she spoke. You've been stirring for a while. Do you always watch, or do you like to follow instructions too? She heard his breath hitch, felt the tension crackle in the air between them. Oh, this was going to be fun. The man hesitated, his lips parting slightly, as if he wasn't sure how to respond. Vanessa didn't mind. She enjoyed that moment when a man realized she was unlike anyone he'd ever met before. He cleared his throat. Uh, I guess that depends. Vanessa turned to face him, her gaze unwavering. Depends on what? She asked, tilting her head slightly. He swallowed hard. On what kind of instructions you're giving. A slow smile spread across her lips. Oh, he had no idea. Stepping closer, she let her fingertips trail down the strap of his gym bag. A subtle tease. She leaned in just enough for him to feel the warmth of her breath. Good answer. But if you're going to keep watching me, you should at least introduce yourself. Mark, he said quickly. Mark, she repeated, letting the name roll off her tongue like a test. She liked how it sounded. You seem like the type who enjoys a challenge, Mark. Am I right? His jaw flexed. Sometimes. Vanessa chuckled softly. Only sometimes? That's a shame. I was hoping for someone who could keep up with me. His eyes darkened with intrigue, his hesitation melting into something else, something more eager. I think I can handle it. She stepped back, watching him fight the urge to follow. She had him now, caught in her web, waiting to see what she'd do next. We'll see about that. With a final, knowing glance, Vanessa turned and walked away, letting him watch, letting him wonder. If he was smart, he'd come find her again. If he wasn't, well, she never wasted her time on men who couldn't take direction. And something told her Mark was already waiting for her next command. I'm a confident woman, strong, confident. What I want, I get. My name is Vanessa. Mark couldn't get Vanessa out of his head. That smirk, the way she toyed with him like she already knew how badly he wanted her. It was intoxicating. He wasn't used to women like her. Women who didn't wait to be pursued, but instead set the rules themselves. And yet, something about it made him crave her even more. He had to see her again. The next morning, he was at the park early, scanning the paths, waiting for her. When she finally appeared, sleek leggings hugging her curves, a knowing glint in her eye, he felt that familiar pull in his chest. She had spotted him. Of course, she was expecting him. The next morning, he was at the park early, scanning the paths, waiting for her. When she finally appeared, sleek leggings hugging her curves, a knowing glint in her eye, he felt that familiar pull in his chest. She had spotted him. Of course, she was expecting him. Vanessa did not stop. She jogged past him with nothing but a sly glance over her shoulder, as if daring him to follow. And he did. She led him through the winding trails, her pace steady, her control absolute. Every time he got too close, she picked up speed. Every time he lagged, she slowed just enough to remind him that he was chasing her, not the other way around. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she veered off the main path, heading toward a secluded bench near the edge of the trees. When she stopped, she didn't turn to face him right away. Instead, she reached up, stretching her arms high above her head, letting him take in every inch of her body. When she finally turned, her expression was unreadable. "So you like to chase me, do you?" she murmured. Mark was breathing hard, but not from the run, only when it's worth it. Vanessa stepped closer, her fingers tracing an invisible path down his chest. "And what makes you think you've caught me?" He exhaled sharply. "Because I'm still here, and I do whatever it takes to prove I can handle you." Her smile was slow, teasing. "That's a bold claim." He nodded. "I mean it." Vanessa tilted her head, studying him like a prey deciding whether its prey was worth playing with. Then finally, she leaned in just enough for her lips to hover near his ear. "If you really mean it, Mark, you have to earn it. I don't give my attention just to anyone." She pulled back, her eyes locking onto his, waiting to see if he would break, if he would stammer, hesitate, back down. But he didn't. "Tell me what you want me to do." His voice was low, husky. "I'll prove it." Vanessa's fingers trailed up his arm, slow and deliberate. Good boy. She turned, walking away once more. This time, she knew Mark would follow. Mark followed without hesitation. Vanessa did not have to look back to know. She felt his presence, his anticipation, the hunger in his steps as he kept pace with her. He was ready to be tested, but she wasn't going to make it easy for him. The trail led to a quiet, tucked away part of the park where the trees formed a canopy overhead, filtering the morning sunlight into golden streaks. A bench sat beneath the shade, empty, waiting. Vanessa stopped beside it and turned slowly, meeting Mark's gaze with an expression that sent a shiver down his spine. Kneel. His breath hitched. The word hung between them, heavy, laced with challenge. He hesitated, but only for a second. Then slowly, deliberately, he dropped to his knees before her. His eyes locked onto hers, waiting. Vanessa's smile was wicked. Good boy, she murmured, stepping closer until her body was just within reach. I knew you wanted this. She leaned down, fingers tilting his chin up so he had no choice but to hold her gaze. Tell me, Mark, do you always obey so easily? His jaw tightened. Only for the right woman. Vanessa chuckled softly, her thumb brushing over his lower lip. You're learning quickly. I like that. Her fingers trailed down his throat, slow and deliberate. Feeling the way his pulse raced beneath her touch, she could sense his restraint. The way he fought the urge to reach for her, to take what he so clearly craved. But he wouldn't, because this was her game. I could have anyone kneel for me, she continued, her voice a sultry whisper. But I want more than that. I want to see how far you're willing to go, how badly you need this. Mark swallowed hard, his breath shallow. Tell me what you want, he said, his voice low, rough with desire. I'll do it. Vanessa smirked. Oh, this was going to be fun. She leaned in, her lips just a breath away from his ear. Prove it. Mark's breath was uneven, his body tense with anticipation. He had given her the power, surrendered to the challenge in her eyes, and now he was waiting, waiting for her to decide what came next. Vanessa let the silence stretch, savoring the way he hung onto every moment, every flick of her gaze. She ran a single finger along his jawline, her touch feather-light but commanding. You say you'll do anything, she mused. But words are easy. I prefer action. She stepped back, straightening. Let's play a little game, Mark. Follow my instructions exactly. No hesitation, no questions. Understood? He nodded, his eyes locked onto hers. Yes. Good. She walked around him, slowly, making him feel her presence from every angle. First, I want you to close your eyes. He obeyed instantly, his breath hitching as the world around him faded. Vanessa smirked. Now, keep your eyes closed and listen carefully. I want you to focus only on my voice, on my presence. Can you do that? Yes. His voice was low, steady, but she could hear the edge of excitement. Good boy, she praised, watching the way his body reacted to the words. Now take a deep breath. Let go of everything. Right now, there is no one here but you and me. She let the moment stretch, watching him fight the urge to open his eyes, to break the rules. He was holding himself back, waiting for her lead, and that was exactly what she wanted. Vanessa leaned in, her voice a whisper against his ear. You want to be worthy of me? Yes. Then let's see just how patient you can be. She circled him again, deliberately drawing out every second. This wasn't just about control. It was about making him feel it, making him crave her command. Don't move until I say so. And with that, she walked away, just far enough to test him, just long enough to make him wonder when she'd return. Mark stayed perfectly still, his breaths controlled, his body tense with the effort of obeying. Vanessa smirked. Now he was exactly where she wanted him. Vanessa watched him, arms crossed, a satisfied smirk playing on her lips. Mark stood perfectly still, his eyes closed, his breath slow and controlled. He was waiting for her command, resisting the urge to move, resisting the desire to chase her again. Good. He was learning. She took her time, stepping closer until she was just within reach. Her voice was soft but firm. You're doing well, Mark. But patience is the only part of what I require. She walked behind him, close enough that he could feel the warmth of her presence. Tell me, do you always submit so easily? His breath hitched, but he didn't move. His breath hitched, but he didn't move. Vanessa chuckled. Smart answer. She reached out, the lightest brush of her fingertips over his shoulder. Now, let's see how far you'll go to prove it. She stepped in front of him. Open your eyes. Mark obeyed instantly, his gaze locking onto hers, filled with restrained hunger. Good boy, she murmured. A flicker of satisfaction crossed his face at her praise, and Vanessa didn't miss it. She loved that. She loved watching men fight to please her, to earn her approval. And Mark, he was proving himself quickly. Now, she continued, tilting her head as she studied him, I want you to do something for me. Anything. His voice was steady, but there was an undeniable edge of need. Vanessa smirked. I want you to plan something for me. Something indulgent. Something that proves you understand exactly what I deserve. He blinked, surprised, as if expecting a more immediate challenge. But she saw the shift in his expression, the realization that this test was about more than simple obedience. Now, she continued, tilting her head as she studied him, I want you to do something for me. He blinked, surprised, as if expecting a more immediate challenge. But she saw the shift in his expression, the realization that this test was about more than simple obedience. You want me to plan something? He asked carefully. Vanessa stepped closer, lowering her voice. I want to see how well you understand me, Mark. I want you to prove that you know what kind of woman I am, that you're willing to put in the effort to please me the right way. She could see the gears turning in his mind, the weight of the challenge sinking in. This wasn't just about listening to her commands, it was about anticipation, about proving he could meet her needs without having to be told exactly how. Mark swallowed, his eyes never leaving hers. And if I do? Vanessa smiled. Then maybe, just maybe, you'll earn the privilege of my time again. She turned to leave, throwing one glance over her shoulder. Don't disappoint me, Mark. And just like that, she was gone, leaving him standing there, heart pounding, mind racing, already desperate to prove himself worthy of her attention.